Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. Today's patients are 3 inverters, and the problem I was having with them is that the plug itself was engineered in such a way to where it was too tight to accept your traditional what do I call polarized plug. A polarized plug is where you have one of the tangs, and I will get the phone, hang tight. Okay, so I'm back. The engineering on these openings here is so tight that like a polarized plug like that, which has the neutral tang is wider than the hot tang, that you can barely even fit a plug in there. Turn on an overhead light here and let's see if that helps a little. That's going to change everything. I've been dinking around trying to melt the openings bigger, but it is just so tight. Let me see if I got that backwards. Yeah. That's after I melted with a screwdriver trying to open these up a little bit. So I got to piddling around. I've taken some of these covers off already. These, to try to understand what I'm dealing with. And here is the plug-ins. And then you can see the size disparity we're dealing with. Get my big fat knuckle out of the way. I'll just use the neutral tang. There you go. You see that? I'm trying to fit this in there and it just... I mean, that thing is engineered so tight. And it's not so much the hot leg, it's the neutral tang. It's like if you grind the neutral tang down, then maybe it'll work well. So I was having trouble unplugging a cord, and I noticed there's so much friction. I'm trying to plug in right now, and I can't even plug into that. Yep, I've got it on the correct polarity. So I'm going to be linking this video to the inverter manufacturer. To tell them, hey, oh, dang, that's bullshit. So let's just lay that on the table right now. However, the company, I got them on eBay. These inverters are 1500 watt. I think their brand name is Hammer Down. I've tested them out. They all work. They all function. Everything is perfectly fine except for how you interface a cord. So I'm working on this. Let me show you what my solution has been thus far. Hang tight. So like with any other project, you dabble into it and you try to find out what you're getting into. And what I discovered was this socket here is molded into the face covering. And one of the things I did like about it is the spacing. Because if you have an inverter, you're never going to be guaranteed to have like a household type plug. You might have a round plug. I've got a one of my go-to inverters over here where the plug-in portions are too close together. Meaning you can't just throw up a round extension cord plug on it and plug 2 in. There's not enough real estate. I'll get an example together here and show you what I mean. See if you're in frame. Yep. So if you look at this little older one, here's an older inverter that plugs in just fine, but you can't plug in a second plug, and or you can barely you got to fight in this, but it'll go. So this has been something I've had around the house for many years. And then here's another one where the same issue is you've got the plugs too close together. And that's a 1200 watt. I've had this one for many years. So there's a lot of things you should study through before you choose your inverter, and convenience of the outlets is one of them. So first, for a plug, I recommend inverters.com. I found them on eBay, and they have a store. But they were running a special on these. No DC power cables. It was just the inverter itself. You have to make your own cables. But they were selling these 1500 watt inverters for $49 a piece. Basically based on the principle that you don't get anything extra except this. And they call it their hammer down. I don't know, it's surplus they purchased and tested and put them up on eBay. One of the very first call I made to the company, they're here in the USA. You call their number, they will answer. They're East Coast USA, Americans, and that's their tech support is real great. But I did make them aware of the plug-in problem. They weren't aware of it. So, but the very first phone call I made is I hooked this up to my car and turned it on, and the display flashed, but there was no output power. So the stenciling up front here, I didn't realize these weren't lights. I thought these were just USB ports for charging things, and this is a display to give you a status. I didn't realize that's an actual button to power on. So you got to turn it on the back, and then you got to also turn it on the front. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. So to solve my problem I'm having is I have to install new plugins. Well, how do I go about doing that? Well, I found something on eBay. It's a guy, he's got a store named Dyro Wolf, DIROWOLFE. He sells a lot of 20 panel mounted outlets. This is a panel mount outlet. Sometimes you'll open up equipment and you'll see this, but you'll see the back side and it looks like that. It'll be open faced. And sometimes these tangs, these tabs will slip out after repetitive use or what have you. That's because they don't have the backer plate installed, which is this. This will snap down over. It's got little feet. It'll clip down over. You just got to get it aligned right and squeeze it down. The reason why I chose these type is because I think they allow a lot of different a lot more flexibility on how to interface with the metal tabs. So let me grab a couple of metal tabs down here. I'll grab the gold one since it's more prevalent here. All right. So there's my metal tab. And you'll see that it's made in such a way to where you can do a slip-on terminal, like a blade terminal to make your connection, or you can drop your conductor down on and it'll skin the insulation. It's made to make this daisy chainable. I think I'll just snap one together, so I'll show you what I mean when I say that. You can literally lay your neutral wire here and your hot wire here. And let's just pretend like this is an insulated green. And pinch them down into their little respective slots and put the cover on the back, and you're golden. Or you can home run, just come right in the back. Just dress your wires through this, bring them through, terminate here with slip-on terminals, or you can solder directly to it. So that explains what I found. I like this these types of connectors because there's flexibility and options. A lot of times all you get is one way to terminate these kinds of things, and it's nice to have options, especially if you want to daisy chain multiple outlets. You can do that. You can just lay them out just like a power strip. So enough about that. So yeah, I'm going to recommend so far for customer support and product delivery and condition and unboxing and everything. I'm going to go ahead and recommend inverters.com. Dragging the box over here to show you what they shipped in. This is the box. 1500 watt, 3000 watt peak. Don't trust that. Just Target. See, I've got 3 of these. I got 2 for my deep freezes, because I got 2 deep freezers, and then I've got one that I'm bringing in the house to power things up, and I can just drive a vehicle up to the garage here and hook up and run my deep freezes, and I can idle a vehicle over to the house and run the TV, internet, a fan on the fireplace, and hopefully integrate my refrigerator. So that's my plans for why I've got 3. Actually, I have 5 so far, and I've given one away. But I've got this all my hardware here on 3 magnets separated out, and some feet. I've got these guys opened up. You can take a peek on the inside here and take a look at what tech they used. Not the best brand capacitors, so to speak, but they're... I'm not going to say that I found anything about the quality to be questionable. Everything's pretty robust and big. I've got my 3 3 power legs disconnected here from the faceplate, and I thought, well, I'm going to stop there and not do any more disconnections, because that's as far as I need to go inside this thing. Very good DC bus work. It's all like 1/8 inch. 10. I think they're, yeah, I think they are magnetic. No, they're not magnetic. So they're probably aluminum bus work in here. Probably aluminum. The only magnetic tracing I'm getting is on the screws themselves. I can't imagine they would have used copper, tin coated copper on their stud work and what have you. Good chassis ground, integrated really well. Slips underneath the motherboard and bonds the motherboard to the chassis right here with this screw terminal. I mean, it's your run-of-the-mill, good-looking inverter. Let's see what that was. It just fell off. Where do you go? I have no idea where that came from. I'm going to have to figure that out later. Huh. Okay. Well, it is what it is. And I've got the screws out of this one right here so far. I'll zoom you in, best vantage point, so you can do what you do on YouTube. You watch me fix stuff. Alright, hang tight while I get this re-angled and zoomed in. Let's see if we can get you right there. Alright. That'd be good. Let's see what we discover inside here. Got a couple of screws I got to take out right here. Also, these magnets that I'm using to catch hardware, over there, they're kind of set up to where their polarities are pushing each other away. See that? If you do magnets just to catch hardware, make sure you set your magnets up so they don't stick to each other. It's just a trick. See if you're in frame. You are. Put me a little magnet on my screwdriver here. Missed. Got it. All right. Put that back where that goes. And the faceplate coming off. I'm going to take a peek in there and make sure I'm not screwing anything up. Oh, I can take the cover off now. Yep. I can move these slide rails out. Now I can see what I'm doing. Yep. And the only thing I need to do is snip off the important leads, which are the ones that, well, I've got 3 screws. I got 4 screws I got to take out here. Take those little guys out. Don't want to do that right now. No, I want to cut first. Where's my cutters? Well, I sure do miss my good set of side cutters. They're out in the backyard somewhere from the day when I put the netting over the pond I made. Let's find this black. I can't see too well, but the only thing that matters is if you guys can. There's that one. That'll be easy. This white one. There's the black one. Alright. Let that hang like that. Now I can get my little screws out. Being careful with these little tiny conductors here, the black and white. There we go. Now it looks like all I need to do is push these tabs, coax them a little bit. This whole thing should roll right out of there. And we're in like Flynn. We've got this. That's what I'm after. The rest of this can just set over to the side for a while. So next phase coming right up. So now I just have to torch this out. Torch it out. What do I mean by that? I'm going to be heating this razor blade up. I'm going to be cutting out a rectangle. Let's give it a try. Get these conductors dressed appropriately so they're not, they don't have a conflict. There we go. It looks like a good starting point. There we go. I'm just using this razor blade and my torch, heating it up. Let me re-angle you guys. I'll try to stay in frame for you. I don't think I need to be zoomed in though. Got me a wire brush right there in the vise. Heat that up until it starts looking a little glowy red. I'll clean it off from the other day. There we go. I don't think I need that much heat. There we go. Miss Brits would walk out here and say, "What are you trying to do? Kill yourself?" These toxic fumes. Okay, so that's got that. See if I can massage that. Yep. Okay, so there's one opening. Let me pause it and I'll cut the other one out and we'll get to some file work. Okay, so I got the second one cut out. There's that. Now all I've got to do is go the same method of procedure for go through a method of procedure here of sizing this up to the receptacle. That right there. So that's going to be way bigger of a plug than the opening. This is the front. There's a lot to file, a lot to clean up. Let me zoom you back a little bit. So yeah, where's my file? So this is what I do. I'm just going to work on it and file it. I'm going to change your angle here. Set myself up right there in the chair. I'm just going to work on filing this out. I want to make sure I dress these in to where they look square and not cattywampus. And this will take a minute. I'm eyeballing my straight vertical lines first, keeping those parallel. Pay attention to when I'm getting close. Let me see which ways that go. Goes like that, so the ground is down. When it slips in the front, I'll know I'm done. As far as if I can get it in at an angle. It's looking pretty square so far. Getting close. Very close. Lines are still looking parallel. I'm only looking at these two right now. Okay, so I'm fitting in that way. That tells me I can stop. Thinking you guys are too zoomed in. That'd be good. So what I was targeting was this right here. Do I fit that way? Yes, I do. Now that I know I'm wide enough, I need to get the height right. Also paying attention to how square it looks. Chickens are freaking out about something. I should be a good chicken dad and go see what that's about. Hang tight, guys. They're just doing what chickens do. See where we leave off. We are wide enough. We just need to be... Oh, we are tall enough. Beauteous. Well, looks like I can trim out the picture frame. Get rid of any high spots. These little panel mount things have little paws on them. I'm having a lot of trouble seeing what you guys see. It'll trap this into the item that you attach it to. See those little tabs? They have little grooves cut into them as well, but see how these individually drop down? So if you slip them into a square opening, these guys will collapse down and pop back up on the back side of the plate, which is what I knew I would be able to do with this. Since this plastic is thin enough, looking pretty good. The back is going to be the most critical part, because the little paws that I showed you are grabbing on the back side of this to keep this plug in place. That's no good right there. There we go. I want to get this opening at the same plane as the original plastic so the clips grab better. Sorry about the chickens. So that's one opening. Doesn't look too shabby. The other one just needs dressed up. But now what we can do is go like this. Kaboom. We're in like Flynn and it can't come out. It's trapped. So let me keep working on this and I'll get the other one done. Got that done. It's all cleaned up. Plugs go right in. Boom. A little bit crookedy-eyed on me, but no biggie. Alright, and I can extract these easily by pushing in the little tabs on the back side. Just wrestle a little bit. Wrestle with it a little bit. And there's my cover. Okay, so now that the cover is complete, my focus is now going to be on these outlets. So let's talk about that. First thing I want to do is I want to extract all these pins because I want to be doing some specialty custom work because remember, these have to have a back shell on them. If I don't put a back shell on, repetitive plugging in and pulling out, plugging in and pulling out can cause these terminals to just pop out the back. And then you'll have a dead outlet, meaning when you go to use your inverter, you'll wonder what the hell's going on. It's not putting out power. And then you take it apart and find out that one of these terminals, which are barely held in, has popped. So I want to take these terminals out. I want to get all 6 terminals laid out for the next task. So I've got all 6 terminals laid out here. And your conductive leg will be kind of brassy looking. Your neutral leg will be nickel looking. And then your third prong ground will be whatever metal they chose to use, but of a different design. Alright, so I know what I'm after. I'm after this application here. What I'm after is I want to take a bare piece of number 14 gauge and I want to loop it on like that. And I want to do a crimp on either side to hold it in place. And then I want to solder that. And what that's going to give me is, let's see, this is our hot leg, so that goes right there. If I push that in, it should, I could feel it snap a little. There we go. Yep. What it's going to give me is when I put the back shell cover back on, and I don't want to snap this down because they're really a bear to get out. It's going to leave me a tab of copper sticking out the back, about that much for me to make my connections to. So this will be crimped to the terminal. This copper 14 gauge will be crimped to the terminal. And this cover will be in place. I'm just going to go ahead and snap it on there and show you. Let me make sure this is on first. I believe it's pushed all the way in. Yep. And the only disadvantage here is I had to embiggen the holes here on the back. And the only thing that was me just heating up a properly sized tool, which I'm looking for it right now. What I used, I have to heat up the back side openings to allow that copper to pass through. Because factory default, it's rather congested. Tiny little opening back there. But I want to let a loop poke through. So let me get this, try to get this snapped in, and I'll show you what it's going to look like for all three terminals. There we go. And installed. Be like that. And then I'll have that. And then I've got a place to hook up connections. Like so. Alright, hang tight. Well, I won't do that again. Hoo-wee. Okay, let me reposition you guys. Zoom in a little bit and see what we can get into on the details. Hopefully I stay in frame. So my target here is to not go beyond this. Is that right? I see the screwdriver and that. And there's the razor knife. Yep, stay up in the razor knife area, Scott. There we go. So what I'm going to do is open up my little tangs here with this Allen and stab myself for sure, because that's always going to happen. I want to open these up enough to let that 14 gauge wire slip in there. This. Yeah, got it. Try not to malform it too much. See if my copper fits. And it does. Fits both sides. Yep. Okay. I'll make a simple bend. 180. As tight as I can get it. See if you're in frame, if I'm up in that area. No. Stay low. Let's compare it to one like this. It's complete. It's pretty close. cutter. Dang it. I didn't want you to go flying like that. Where did you go? Goodness gracious. I'm going to not forget to add flux before I insert it. That's probably good enough. Put a little bit of flux on there. There we go. Needs opened up a little bit. Oh, come on. Shouldn't need a hammer for this. I'll open it up better on the next one. There we go. Alright. And there we are. Copper is all the way down to the end. There's our length. Compare it to the other one. It's about the same. Okay, so I'm just going to wash, rinse, and repeat and get all these prepped in. Now you may be wondering what keeps these in when you install the tabs, but there's these little shark bite points right there and right there, and that's a stamped out section of metal. They come in the back and push through, and let those little shark bite teeth stand good and proud. And the slot that it goes in, it grabs the plastic. And what I'm doing to make sure they are going to, I'm kind of reworking them by putting this little tool I made. It's just a nail. I'm pushing through to stand that tooth back up again. I'm pushing through right back here. All the little details matter. So now I'm going to work on giving each one of these a little bit of a crimp. I've got all 6 of them here made up, fluxed up and everything. And I'll just go through and crimp everybody. I'm going to just randomly pick a die that looks like it's going to work well for me. See what that looks like. I don't like that. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, so here's the before. It's just slipped in there and laying with flux on it. Hope my microphone is still going. Double check the other end here. Hang tight. Yep, looks like we're going. What do I want to do? Yeah, this is just very random, but it looks like it's going to be a sufficient crimp for what I'm after. What I need to do is just trap the copper and give it a detent. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll be way good enough. Let's take a look at that. You'd swear a professional was doing it. Looks good. Okay. Happy with that. Let me go through and crimp the rest of them. Let's try to lay down some solder. I'm just going to pop some heat on it and wait till it starts taking. Waiting to see that flux bubble. There we go. That's enough for that one. Probably put way too much heat on that little guy. I put a blister in my bench, so I'm going to change up the style here and find something to solder on. Should have done this in the first place. That worked. What was that? Scrap. Yeah, I don't want to blister up my bench. But that's plenty good enough. I'll be cleaning it off with alcohol. It discolored a whole lot, and I don't like that, but I'll compensate. I had too much heat on. Let's see if we're still in frame. Table surface. Stay right in here. Next up, angle that a little bit. Maybe that plate will act like a heat sink. I think I'm getting a different result here. Maybe this is what I need to do. That copper is on a copper plate. I wonder if it's sucking too much heat away. No, it's taken. having a little bit of trouble here trying to reach without blocking off the camera. Add some heat. Okay. Get that guy off of there. That was warm. Grab the end of my solder lead here. That should be good enough. That's pretty hot. Let me run through all of them. Hang tight. Might as well finish them all off together. I like watching other people solder on YouTube myself, so let's see what we can do together here. I gotta remember to let off the trigger. I don't usually use this soldering iron. This big beast is just, it's got a lot of power. I'm gonna add some flux. It sure isn't taking very easy. Not sure what's going on. Let me put a little flux on it with a screwdriver. Not sure if my tip needs cleaned off or what. Maybe it's a heat transfer thing. Let's give it a try again. Yeah, there's something goofy here. I don't like this. I think the copper plate's stealing my heat. Let me figure something out. Hang tight. Let's try a little piece of fish paper. Put some flux on this. See if you're in frame. You need to be right there or here. I need to see what I'm doing. Wait for the flux to start bubbling. And lay on the solder. Yep, that's what it was. It's kind of hot. Alright then. See if you're in frame on that one. Wait for the flux to start bubbling. Yeah, it's taking solder either way, so here we go. I'm probably laying too much on. Nah, should be fine. Alright. Come on. That's what it was. That copper plate was just stealing all my heat. That's all that needs. That's pretty hot. I think that's all of them. So now what we'll do is clean them off with some alcohol. Hang tight. Make myself a tool here to drop them down in there. There we go. You're done. See if we can do two of them. I want to overcrowd that opening. there. And the last one. Alright. Guess we'll set that over here because that suddenly became a tool. Alright, now do a physical examination of each one. Pass. Pass. That's a pass. 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 Okay, now we're going to insert them back in their connector. So this is a hot leg. So that goes in the hot leg. Right there. What am I doing? That's a neutral. I mean, that's a ground. Okay. Bend that down a little bit just to complement future wear and tear. It'll be dressed properly for when it's inserted, when I insert a cable a few times. I'll have those tabs proud in the hole openings, so when you put a cord in, it's always going to make contact. And a pair of pliers, please. There we go. Snap. Yep. That one's good. Okay, so here's a neutral because it's silver, so that goes on this side. I believe. Oh, another thing I can do while I have the opportunity is I can squeeze these together to make sure they have good contact in the future. Because the plug cord does this. That's how that works. That's all that's going on. This upper wall has the most contact. I guess this other side here is the side that gives you the push to push the tang into the wall here. So this is neutral, so it goes in the big slot. Need this to push it in. I guess we don't get a click out of that one. And I need a hot leg. Again, squeeze it together. Hot leg is the skinny slot. And I don't get a snappy noise on that one either. I'm not seeing. I would rather bend these a little differently. There we go. Try to future-proof this thing so they always make maximum contact. That's what I was after right there. Yeah, that'll work. Now I'm just making sure everything's seated. And since this cover's already modified to accept this, I can snap the cover on the back. All right, see what we got there. Now I can bend these guys around and do some, keep them clearanced properly. I can do some fine-tune adjustments, but for the most part, that's what I'm after right there. Let's see if I can install these guys. So that's a hot leg. That's squished together. Yep. Neutral leg. All right, hang tight. Might have an issue, I don't know. Nope, no issue. No issue at all. And that slips in. There. Okay, and I need to embiggen the holes on the back of this thing. Hang tight. Same process as before. Just add heat. Let's see if that even comes close. Dress these in a little bit. Get everybody's trajectory lined up. Well, if it goes on backwards, it'll go on forwards. Cool. Okay. So now let's see if it fits its actual final resting spot. I hope it does. Let's give it a try. I didn't hear anything click, but it's definitely in there. All the feet are engaged. The feet meaning pointer, the little paws here and here. Okay, so there's two completed outlets with terminal points to hook up my wiring. So now I need my faceplate. And which side is down? Yeah, that side's down. There's that. There's that. And it's as simple now as just jumpering these wires across here. That'll be part 2. And then hooking it back up. That's been 1 hour and 20 minutes. See ya.